Hi there. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to use RobotC and the VEX remote and so that when you use the joysticks or push a button you can get motors to turn on and off. Now a resource that you can use that can help you through this is on Google Classroom, or if you just go to Google and search for VEX remote RobotC, you're going to find a PDF file by Carnegie Mellon Robotics Academy. And when you click on that, it's going to show you some sample code. And so on pages 2 and 3 of this, there's sample code for a robot that runs off of 2 motors on the left and right side. And there's also sample code for controlling a third motor, arm motor, with buttons on the remote. And so I'm going to walk you through how and what that code might look like in RobotC. But this is certainly a great reference to use when programming your robot to use with the VEX remote. Alright, so in RobotC I've already gone into the motor and sensor setup, and I've set up 3 motors, left motor, right motor. I'm going to change this from flipper motor to arm motor, just so it matches what you see in that PDF file. So to get this to work, you need to make a loop within task main. And in the sample code, they show you how to do this with a while statement. And you set a condition that is true. So you can set while 1 equals 1, and 1 always equals 1. Then you do this loop. And so it will always happen when you run the robot. So let me fix the formatting here. And inside this while loop is where I'm going to send the lines of code that will power the motors off of the joystick and buttons. Okay, so I'm going to double check the syntax here, and I'm actually going to just copy and paste the syntax from this example. So I'm going to go Control-C, copy, and I'll paste it within this while loop. And the syntax they're using is motor, and then you call on a motor that you're setting up, and so they're calling on left motor and right motor, and they're running these off the VEX remote on channel 3, and they're dividing the value on channel 3 in half. So I'm going to get rid of that half there. We don't really need a lot of precision, so that kind of just slows things down, and so we don't want to slow things down. So that's good. And now within this loop we're also going to call on some buttons, or to basically set up some conditional statements that if a button is pressed, the arm motor runs. And so instead of typing out the syntax, I'm just going to go back to here, and I am just going to copy from this as well. So this is the if, else if, and else conditional statements in this loop in the example here. And so I'll go back into RobotC and I'll just paste that in as well. I'll fix the formatting. And let's take a look and see what's going on here. So if VEX remote button 6U is pressed, so 1 means that it's pressed, it's true, then the motor, arm motor, will run at a value of 40. Else if, so if this condition is not met, if button 6D is pressed, then the motor, arm motor will run at a value of negative 40. And the final condition is an else statement where if neither of these buttons are pressed, then the motor, arm motor runs at a speed of 0. Right, and so that's it. It's very straightforward and simple. Now, if you're adding additional motors, you would go into motor and sensor setup, and you would add those additional motors that you want to use there. And you can either run motors with the joystick here using the channels, or you can set up some more conditional statements to run the motors off of buttons if they're pressed. Okay? So hopefully that answers any questions you might have about using buttons, at least to control one motor. And if you're controlling more than one motor with a button, let me know, and I'll give you some tips and advice of how to approach that as well. Alright, great.